Okay, so today we will be making muffins, and for that we're going to need 6 different wet ingredients. So we're going to start by adding all the wet ingredients to the bowl. We have 2 eggs, 2/3 cup yogurt or sour cream, 2/3 cup milk, 2/3 cup oil, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, and 1 to 2 teaspoons vanilla. So you're going to start by whisking all of those together. You're going to whisk it until it all is well blended. You're going to see it's going to start turning all smooth and homogeneous. The milk, the oil bubbles will incorporate into the rest. There we go. You can use dairy milk or you can use plant-based milk. Either way should be fine. Depending on what you prefer. Okay, once it's all smoothly mixed together, we're just gonna add the muffin mix. All right, and then we're gonna whisk it really quickly to get it all whisked together before it starts to thicken too much, because it's gonna turn into a nice thick batter, which is what you want for muffins, because otherwise your add-ins are going to all sink to the bottom. We don't want that. All right, here we go. Okay, so I've chosen today to add some chocolate chips. I'm going to add 1 cup of mini chocolate chips. You can add fruit, blueberries, or any other fruit. You can add nuts or even raisins, I would assume. If you're adding fruit, I personally find either adding a teaspoonful of cinnamon or some lemon zest gives it a nice touch. That's up to you. It's whatever you prefer as far as flavor. And you're just gonna fold in the add-ins kind of like that until they're well mixed. You can add up to 1.5 cups. I wouldn't add more than that because otherwise, especially with fruit, it might make your muffins too soggy. All right, and then you're just gonna scoop a nice heaping tablespoonful into each muffin tin or so, give or take, into each muffin liner. A little more actually. You do want to make them heaping full. If you have a big ice cream scoop, that works as well. I have sprayed these liners with some non-stick spray. I find the muffins, it peels off the muffins more easily that way. Okay, so I've filled my 12 muffin holes. As you can see, they're pretty heaping full, and they're gonna mound really nicely, kind of like bakery style muffins for sure. You might be wondering why I do every other hole. That's just my thing. I like my muffins to be nice and round on top. Obviously, if you only have a 12-cup muffin tin, that's perfectly fine. You can place them one beside the other. Okay, so just because we want it to look pretty today, we're gonna add some sparkling sugar. You can add cinnamon sugar on top. You can add streusel if you have a favorite streusel recipe, which is really just flour, sugar, and butter. Anything goes with these muffins, really. Anything that you feel enhances them. And when we're done with this, we shall bake them for about 20 to 24 minutes. I have preheated my oven to about 375 degrees. And you do want to bake muffins a little bit higher temperature just because it gives it that nice domed top, versus baking them at lower temperature would make them a little flatter. If you don't like huge muffins, these are pretty big. You could probably make these into 18 slightly smaller ones, and that would work too. Then you would just bake them a couple minutes less. All right, they're ready to go. Okay, here are the baked muffins. These took about 22 minutes in my oven. So depending on your oven, you're gonna have to just kind of gauge it by, see how nicely they spring back when I touch the tops. That's what you want to look for. And then if you do the toothpick test, you want to make sure that there's no crumbs attached, or very, very few, if any. If you're gonna add fruit, you're probably gonna have to bake it an extra minute or two, just because of the moisture in the fruit. But otherwise, now you're gonna just let them cool for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, and then you can remove them. Okay, so these have cooled about 5 minutes or so, and I'm just gonna break one open so you can see the inside of it as well. I'm just gonna choose this one just because I can see how nice and big they became, nicely domed. All right, here we go. So they're super nice and soft, moist inside, thanks to the yogurt and whatever that we added, the oil. And they are nice and fluffy and super good. Now, just as a heads up, this flour mix does contain a little bit of almond flour, so you probably can't send it to school with your kids, but they are amazing for about 2-3 days. We eat them at least for 2-3 days or so. Microwaved, room temperature, doesn't matter. They stay fresh and moist. There you go.